Hi, my name's Renee Washington. Welcome to the very first episode of my vlog, Positive Vibes Only. And I told you guys I was going to have a show. I didn't tell you when it was coming out. I did not tell you the final name I came up with, but based on everything going on lately in the world, I went with Positive Vibes Only. Here's why. Well, sports, life, news, health, education, whatever. It is annoying to me to constantly hear the discussions about all the things that need to change without actually figuring out how to change them. So we talk about laws need to be this or laws need to be that or our president needs to do this or this needs to happen. Meanwhile, we're just all sitting back having empty, meaningless conversations and rants and discussions and protests, and nothing is actually getting done. So I'm a reporter, sports reporter, news reporter, and anchor. I am a coach and trainer for soccer. Used to play soccer, as you can see in my jerseys hanging up in the background. Played college soccer and was an All-American, three-time All-American. Coached college soccer. Played a little bit of professional soccer. Still involved with sports, all things sports. Played basketball, ran track, yada yada. Enough about me. But I'm telling you this because in this very moment, as I'm recording this, I got to this point because of who I am, the background that makes up Renee Washington. Who I am is different from who you are. Much like snowflakes, every single one of us is different. I have a different family than you. I come from a different background. I'm an African American female, mid-20s, and I believe in God. That might not be the same case for you. You may be a completely different person. That is fine. And that is why we're going to have this show the way we are to discuss all of these things. Because it is A-okay to be different, have different ideas, beliefs, whatever, agree to disagree, and to still have conversation. So, that being said, what do I want to talk about? Well, there's a lot, actually. I actually wrote some things down because I didn't want to just get into a rant like I'm doing right now. But I'm pretty much tired of just sitting back and having these conversations on Twitter and Facebook and all other social media, and as I'm out covering games and events with people and talking about the things that are going on in our world without actually figuring out how to change them. And the best way I know how to do anything is to talk. That's the best way I know how to fix things. It's partly why I'm a reporter, but I think it's time that we, for one, start to see people for who they are, not what they are. What they are meaning, the color of our hair, the color of our skin, our smile, how much money we have, the way we dress, the way we even talk, those superficial things that don't actually make up who we are. Not to sound like a song, but I am not my hair. I am not these clothes. I am who I am on the inside. I am the things that I love to do. Spontaneous. I'm an outdoorsy person. All those things make up who I am. I'm nice. I love kids. I love family. I love relaxing. That all makes up who I am. Not the kind of makeup that I wear, or the way I style my hair, or where I buy my clothes. So I think that part of the problem why we're having these issues in our world, and I hate to be so broad, is because we are so busy trying to point out people's differences, ostracize them for that, mistreat them for that, and that all snowballs into things such as mass shootings, suicides, bomb threats, obviously war, but I'm not going to even get into that. Like, that's beyond what we're talking about here. Let's keep it as small scale as we possibly can. So most recently, last Wednesday for Valentine's Day, there was a school shooting down in Florida, and students, teachers, people died from it. A few days later, there was another shooting, a middle school student who shot himself in the bathroom. We're still getting information about that. And had a gun in school. I'm not a gun expert. I can't tell you the exact make and model, but it should not have been in school. That I do know. And then most recently, we have heard the former NFL player that actually posted a picture of a gun, basically threatening a kid that bullied him in high school, or school in the school that he was bullied at. So in a matter of a week, like 10 days, not even 10 days, we have seen shooting, threat to shoot. And where does it all stem from? Bullying. And I truly do think that gun laws have to change. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that and that they don't. But I know I have no control over what happens right now. I can write angry letters. I can post angry tweets and Facebook posts. I can rant to anybody who will listen, which I'm not going to do to you. But what I do know is I have a voice, and I can maybe affect one person who may affect one other person, and so on and so forth, to make change happen. So here's what I do know. Bullying, I was bullied. I was left out all my life. I was different. I was tall and skinny and didn't go to all the parties and wasn't a cool kid because I wasn't involved in the same stuff as everyone else. And I remember how hard that was for me growing up. And I know I was fortunate to have a really good support system in my family, and sports were my outlet, and that's what really got me through. And I really think that's actually why I am at this point that I am at right now, because I wasn't one of those kids that was out drinking and doing everything else with all the other kids in high school and middle school. But that didn't make it any easier at the time when I was 12, 13, 16, 17, and I didn't understand why I didn't fit in. And I think that's something a lot of kids struggle with, especially when you get into high school, even middle school, as you're trying to figure out who you are, trying to figure out who is Renee. What do I like to do? Where do I fit in? What are my hobbies? All that jazz. You get it. And then on top of that, you have someone bullying you, or a group of kids bullying you, or in some cases, it seems like the whole school just does not like you, and you walk through the hallways and people are saying things to you. People are purposely going out of their way to let you know they don't like you. Why do we do that? Where does that start from? How do we get to that point? How do we go from being little kids that are in daycare or preschool and everyone's playing with the same toys to being bullies and mean and vindictive? Well, for one, the kids, we all have to understand, and not just kids, because this also happens in the workplace, sadly, and things like that. We have to all understand that we are different, and there's nothing wrong with being different. So I may dress differently than you may dress. I may talk differently than you may talk. I may like different things that you like. That doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. There is no normal. There's no such thing as normal. If you look in the dictionary, there's not one concrete definition for what a normal person is. But as for all of us, what is normal is that we all want someone to treat us with respect. We want to be treated kindly. We want to fit in. We want to have friends. All people need to socialize. We can't go through day after day talking to no one. We can't go through day after day without anyone caring about us, giving us a hug, treating us properly, having a conversation with us. This is something that I've been talking about recently. It seems like with social media, we don't have face-to-face conversations. I'm not even talking to you now face-to-face. But we don't have those conversations because everything is on our phone, social media, texting, not even calling anymore. So we're losing that interaction, that basic human interaction that we all need. And so now when you're going through all those tough things in your life, it just feels like there's no one to talk to because no one's talking to you. They're talking around you, they're talking at you, they're not actually talking to you. So the other issue is nobody wants to be bullied. We've all been at some point the new kid. We've all been left out. We've all been the person that was on the outside looking in. So why do that to someone else? I never understand why people, and it's that basic golden rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. Or the platinum rule, I believe it is, treat others how they want to be treated. Would you want to walk around school and have kids throwing stuff at you and saying stuff to you? Would you want to have people purposely trying to physically harm you? And for what? Because you're the new kid? Because you dress differently? Because whatever the case may be, whatever stupid reason that we come up with bullying someone else, it makes zero sense to me. So why do we go out of our way to treat someone some way that we would not want ourselves, our sister, our brother, our future daughter or son to be treated? Our mother or father. Would you want someone doing that to your parents? So why do that to someone? Would you want someone doing that to your child? So why do that to someone else's child? But we don't think before we act. We just do. We have our group of friends. People start laughing. So we just continue to do stupid things to get that response rather than doing the right thing. And actually, we go for the stupid response of That's immediate laughter of the group of friends, not thinking about how it's affecting that poor person that you're laughing at. We do things to harm someone, to talk about them, to purposely sabotage them for our own personal pleasure, I guess you can say, for the immediate pleasure of those around you thinking you're cool. And that poor girl or boy now has to go home feeling worthless, walk around the school feeling worthless. And that is essentially what ends up killing people, whether they kill themselves or they decide to go to a school and shoot up their classmates and whoever else is in their path. So we talk about gun laws, but why don't we start in our own homes? Teach your kids how to properly interact with someone else. And that's not being a social media celebrity where you have thousands of likes because you post all these pictures and your life seems so great. That means actually getting to know people. That means actually taking time to have a conversation with someone. And then when you do actually get to know other people, start being nice to the ones you don't know. So you don't have to be friends with everyone. I wholeheartedly believe you can get through without having a best friend. But what I do know is you should not be mistreating someone else. I don't have to like you, but I'm not going to do anything to hurt you. I don't have to agree with you, but I don't have to go out of my way to mistreat you. And that's the issue that we have. Why is it that we can like someone and get along with them, but when we dislike someone, we can't be cordial? So parents, we'll start with them. Parents need to now pay attention to your kids on both sides of it. See how your kids are coming home from school. Are they coming home every day the same, upbeat? Are they coming home, they don't want to talk to you, they're running to their room, they're slamming the door? It's not just a teenage thing. I guarantee you it's not just a teenage thing. All teenage kids don't come home and run to their room and slam the door and say, "Leave me alone, Mom and Dad, I don't want to talk to you." That's not okay. You need to find a way to have conversations with your kid about what is going on in their life. And that means you start that at an early age. You don't have to be their friend, be their parent, and that's what helped me get through bullying. My parents were parenting me. Excuse me. But you do have to be a parent for them and a support system for them and someone they feel comfortable coming to with issues, whatever they may be. Maybe they won't tell you every little detail, because I still don't tell my parents every little detail about what's going on in my life, but they should at least feel comfortable having conversations with you about things that are bothering them to some degree. Start there. Start making your kids put down their phone and have a conversation with you at dinner. Maybe you don't all eat at the table. I am all for us just all sitting in the living room. I still do this with my family. Just sitting in the living room watching a movie, watching a game, whatever the case may be. But that time together, actually talking to each other, that does not equal this time of texting each other or being on your phones, being in the same room but being on your phones. So you need to find time, whether it's through cards, board games, watching sporting events, whatever it may be. It can be simple, but just make time to get to know your kids as they're growing up, as they're figuring themselves out, as they're changing. And it's a very confusing time, obviously, for teenagers. Get to know who they are becoming, not who they were. They're not that same 4 and 5-year-old. Get to know them as a teenager. Teachers. So, as a coach, I obviously don't know everything going on with my player, but I do have a basic idea when I'm looking at the kids and I say partner up, get in groups, or I see them walking in the door and they immediately go with their friends every time. You know who is friends with who. You know who is the player or the student that is always off to themselves. Why be a bystander to that? Why sit back and watch? You're the adult now. You're the adult. Why sit back and watch as poor little Susie or little Scotty or whoever is always sitting off by themselves? When you say get in groups of 3, you make sure that you put that kid in groups, and don't let the same kids always go together. That's how cliques form. Don't let these four girls always work on projects together, always stand in line together, always sit at the carpet together if you're in elementary school, whatever. Split them up. Make them interact with other kids. Start it young and go all the way through high school. Make kids interact with other kids. I don't think that's a hard concept, but I think that too many times coaches, teachers, whatever, we just get caught up in what we're trying to get through for the day, and we forget the simple fact that you are still, much like a parent, a supporting adult, a support system for those kids. So you are still someone, whether you know it or not, whether you are close with them or not, they're still looking to you for guidance. So if you sit back and allow that kid to always be left out, you know the kids that are walking through the hallways and everyone is saying, people are saying stuff to them. They're putting stuff in their locker. They're pulling little pranks on them. Don't turn a blind eye. Don't ignore them. Make a way to make it stop. Period. Find a way. Have these conversations. Make them understand that this is not okay. Do not sit back and watch as kids slowly bully another kid. It only grows and gets worse. It only gets worse. If you don't nip it in the bud at a young age or early on, that you have zero tolerance for bullying. And bullying is not just sitting and trash talking someone. Bullying starts with leaving someone out. Bullying starts with making comments. This poor little kid that gets up and makes a presentation and is so excited about a presentation. Maybe it's a weird presentation on whatever. You know the class is not going to like it and they're not going to be supportive of that kid. That happens. But don't sit back and watch when the kid is talking and other kids are purposely ignoring or making snide comments. Nip it in the bud. Zero tolerance. That is still bullying. If little Johnny is standing in front of the class presenting his ant farm and you see the little clique of kids talking about Johnny presenting the ant farm, cut it. Done. Start early. And I'm no expert, but I do know what I've seen. And I see people stand by, adults included, stand by and watch as this stuff slowly grows. Now as Johnny gets older and is more and more ostracized and being pinned as the weird kid, the bullying only gets worse because no one addressed it. So now these kids who don't know what their kids are like clay, they're slowly trying to figure out how they are supposed to get through the world. And if this is something that is being accepted and allowed, they will continue to do it and it will only get worse. Just like if your kid is back talking you and you don't stop that and you don't say anything and you don't punish them, ground them, beat them, because I'm all for that, but not everybody is, so okay. It will only get worse. They will soon be completely disrespecting you. It is the same thing with bullying. If you let a kid or a group of kids mistreat another one, it will only get worse. Nip it in the bud. And then the last thing for everyone, because I'm slowly ranting longer than I wanted to, is we all just have to come to accept that we are different. Period. And it's okay to be different. That's what makes us so great. But the biggest thing is accept each other's differences, just like you agree to disagree. Understand what makes you different. Put yourself in that person's shoes. If that were you on the receiving end of that comment, of that snide remark, of that physical, whatever, bullying that you may be doing, how would you feel? We have to start doing things and thinking before we do, not just doing and not even worrying or caring about our actions. So, yes, we need to change things like gun laws. Yes, we can have all the suicide awareness walks and conversations and everything, but much like women's rights, civil rights, anything big, because in my opinion, school shootings and suicide rates being so high is a big deal. Anything big that has ever changed did not start with people sitting back and making comments about the president or whoever else. And I am not going to get into political beliefs or anything, but I'm not saying that I like the president. What I'm saying is, if you want something to happen, do like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. Do like what started the entire women's movement, was women standing up for their own rights. And now women and minorities, like myself, can vote. It did not happen sitting behind a phone posting nasty tweets, anonymous Facebook posts, YouTube comments, whatever the case may be. It started with people having the courage to stand up and make the unpopular decision, say what needed to be said, do what needed to be done, regardless if they had the applause and approval of feeling cool or popular. Whether it's bullying and you stepping up to stop it as a teacher or student, whether it's, mistreatment, violence, all of these things that stem from someone sitting back and watching something happen, or someone not standing up quick enough to say, this needs to stop. Well, it's time that things stop. It's time that things change. And I'm hoping that it can start today. So, I've said enough. I've ranted enough. I'm like losing my voice here. But this is the idea of positive vibes only. It's just a chance to discuss something going on in our world again. Sports, news, health, education, whatever the case may be. Something that needs to change. And it starts here. The first conversation, bullying. Bullying needs to change. We need to really crack down on it so we can cut back on students feeling worthless, kids feeling like they don't deserve to live, kids feeling like other kids don't deserve to live, because there are enough issues in life with cancer and heart attacks and heart disease and other illnesses to worry about, the dangers of simple things like whatever the case may be. Life is too short is what I'm saying. There are enough things to worry about in life. So we need to make sure that we and our children, and I don't have kids, so I cannot say our children as mine physically, but I mean our future, the next generation, values each other. They value their lives and they value other people's lives. And that means getting to know someone else, being nice to each other, including each other, being welcoming, being kind-hearted, and getting back to those basic principles that we all learned. Treating others the way they want to be treated, but also how they want to be treated. Not how you would not want to be treated. How they want to be treated. But that's all I've got for today. I've said enough. So enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, positive vibes only. You cannot control what others do, think, say, wear, eat, fart, breathe, whatever. But you can control how you think and how you respond to what life throws at you. So respond with positive vibes only. I'm Renee Washington, and I'll see you next time.